All right, this is Coach McCarthy. We are finishing our discussion about the four P's. We talked about product. We'll continue with price promotion at a later date, but today we're talking about place. So the real thing we're talking about with place is that we talk about channels and the route through how you're going to get your goods from the producer to the consumer to the final user. Main thing that we're looking for right there. How it's bought, where it's bought. That's part of your place too. Is it bought in a store? What kind of a store? How are they purchasing it? And the main thing is we want to put our item the right place means greater chances of sales over a longer period of time. Putting your item in the right place is a key to getting people to buy it. All right, we've talked about these. We did talk about a delicate or perishable product will need special arrangement. So something that's cold has to stay cold. Something that's durable, all right, it doesn't really matter how you load it up. It can sit outside for a while. Right? And the type of product is a big impact on how it's going to be distributed and where. So we talk about channels of distribution, and that being the path or the route that goods or services take from the producer to the consumer. We talk about direct distribution, where you're getting something directly from the producer. I think the easiest example I can think of is buying something directly from the farmer. There's nobody in between. There's no wholesaler. There's no retailer. There's no transportation. You go to his farm and you buy it, or some other instance where you're buying it directly from the farmer. You're getting it from the person that makes it. And that's direct, producer, consumer. Indirect, you have wholesalers, retailers, agents, warehouses, and you have a lot of different intermediaries that we talked about, and those are going to be those things in between. Again, agents, transporters, warehouse, wholesaler, retailer. And we talked about they do have some good things that they can bring to the table, the intermediaries, but we talked about it comes at a cost. Right? We talked about good things, specialists, that they should know what they're doing, exchange time, they can do things faster. They can provide a variety to the consumer so people can see what's going on, maybe smaller quantities. We talked about the wholesaler buys in bulk. The retailer can break it down so that we can buy one item or one pack of ramen noodles. We talk about sales creation because as the retailer, they have a vested interest typically in their product. They've paid for it ahead of time. Maybe they're providing payment options, a layaway, kind of like Walmart used to do. I think they still do that, but some other way of payment plans and options. You get information. You can see what's selling, what's not selling, how things are being perceived in the marketplace, and you're getting that from a lot of different people. If you're using all these warehouses and retailers and transportation, the benefit is you can get information from all three of them. Retailer, as far as what's going on in their store, transportation, maybe who's shipping what to where, and warehouse, same thing. What are you buying and why are you buying so much of it? But with those positives comes our negative, and that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the biggest ones is your product's just not important anymore. When a product is handed over to an intermediary, how much importance it gets is now out of the company's hand. So I'm a producer and I make an item. To me, that item is the most important thing there is because that's my livelihood. That's how I make my money. That's who I am. I'm very proud of my product. Now, if I make a product that's similar to someone else, the transportation guy, he's going to pick up my product and take it to the store where they're going to put it alongside everyone else's. Well, that transportation guy, it's not important to him anymore. All right. He's just transportation. That's all he does. That product is important. When it gets to the retailer, all they care about is making a sale. And to some extent, they probably don't care if it's yours or the one next to it as long as they're making money. So your product, it's important to you, but it's out of your hands. And that's kind of the big thing that we talk about with the direct and the indirect. With indirect, we're using intermediaries. Now they're going to touch it. Their hands are on it. It's not important to them anymore. So the intermediary may have incentives to push another product first at the expense of others, and that's kind of what I was talking about. With a retailer, they might get a better rate for selling someone else's product. All right, they might get a better profit. Transportation, maybe they're paying them more to ship their product, so they're definitely going to care more about that product. All right, so you got to know what's going on and where we stand. Don't have your product lose its importance. The next one that we talk about is loss of revenue. And I think this is probably the biggest one when we talk about using intermediaries. They need to be either paid for their services or allowed to resell at a higher price. The company may lose out on revenue. So, any way you look at it, we're losing money. Okay. Either we're going to have to pay them for their services or they're going to sell it for more. All right. And we have to allow that to happen. We can't say, hey, you can't sell ours for that much. So they're going to want to get paid. How you go about paying them? That's the big thing that you're going to have to figure out with your agreement between your intermediaries. but they want their money. Right? Pricing needs to stay consistent, so the company will have to reduce its profit margin to give a cut to the intermediary. Okay, I can't have one intermediary, one retailer selling it for $9 and another retailer selling it for $5. Well, the one that's selling it for $9, yeah, they're going to stop carrying my product because they can't sell it. So it has to be the same across the board for everybody, and everybody needs to be able to share in those profits, or else we can't use intermediaries. So loss of communication control, along with revenue, the message being received by the consumer is also in the hands of the intermediary. So this is very similar to the loss of product importance. My product's very important. I know a lot about my product, but once it gets out into the retailer, yeah, they got like 4 or 5 different products that might all be kind of the same. They might not know the intricacies, the ins and outs that make them special. They might not know what the company's USP is. What makes them unique and stands out? What makes my product so much better than everyone else's? So using those intermediaries, that might be out of our hands. There is a danger of wrong information being communicated to the customer regarding product features and benefits, which can lead to dissatisfaction. So exactly what we've talked about. It's not the most important thing for them. They don't know a lot about our product. They don't know like we said, they don't know what the USP is, maybe. They don't know what sets it apart. So, as we said, intermediaries can give you a lot of good things, they can give you a lot of negative things too. So you got to weigh out the good and the bad and figure out what's going to be best for your product. Is it worth it to try and get it out there to more places, or do you want to keep it local where you're in more control? And I think that's what we talk about with intermediaries, maybe, is how much control you have with that communication, the revenue, and everything else.